all set to go. So firstly, David Gershaw, who generally does these presentations for the most part, is out of the country right now, so he wasn't able to join us. So I'm pitch hitting and being a groupie today. And what we want to do here is, make it fun, because that's really an important part of our culture here. But also, we want to make sure that you understand how to position our drum fixtures in the market. And so let me just move my slide ahead here. There we go. So wanted to share with you who's presenting today. I think Rebecca already did, but my name's Nate Dennis. Then Ryan will be joining in, and also Amy will be doing a segment with me on how to group and control via Bluetooth our ceiling and wall mount fixtures. The other thing is, if I'm looking a little tired, is because last week I was in Arizona hiking. For those of you who know me, recall that I spent 5 years at LL Bean, and part of the culture at LL Bean was hiking. So my wife and I put in a little over 40 miles last week hiking around Arizona. So we had a great time. But because this is a lighting event and it's educational, I wanted to take a moment and just let you know the hiking shoes that I wore were called oboes. And what's neat about oboes, and I'm going to draw an analogy to our company, is that they do all of their design work, all of their engineering work, all of their testing work, all of that type of stuff that on their shoes is done in Bozeman, Montana. They do manufacture overseas. And that's very similar to what we do as an LED company. We do all, right in between Middleton and Cary, we do all of our own product management, development, quality testing. All of those things are done here stateside. And we have a quality testing lab, and that's a very important part of what we do. And we can do product modifications and so forth right here in the country. And we partner with or have production facilities overseas. And it seems like there's fewer and fewer manufacturers that have that type of capability in the United States. And we're very proud of that. And very proud actually that you guys are on the call and can represent that in the market. And if you're customers of ours, we want you to know how important it is to develop a great product for you guys. So what we're doing today is a little bit different than maybe we've done in the past. We're going to take a deep dive. Our drum fixtures are very nice. They're pretty great, and Ryan's going to show you that here in a little bit. But we want to take the meat of the product is our light engine. So we want to take a little time and go through how the light engine works, what we're doing. We want to show you how to add battery backup to it and how we do it here at the facility. So when you order the product, you understand what that's all about. And some of it also comes down to retrofitting existing fixtures in the field and how we handle all of that. I'm going to work with Amy here in a little bit, and we'll introduce some of our control options and how that all works, including our basic sensor, which is pretty sweet. Then Ryan, of course, will introduce drum fixtures, and then Rebecca does a great job, as you know, if you tune in monthly, on running our knowledge quiz. And I'm pretty hopeful that you guys all get 8 out of 8, but if you get 6 out of 8, you'll enter into her drawing as she's talked about. So let's talk a little bit about the light engine part of our product and what sets us apart in our thing. But actually, it occurred to me is before we do that, I want to remind you a little bit of product iteration, because we do a lot of retrofit work before we sell a new product also. So I wanted just to remind you this good, better, best, or a progressive kind of approach when you look at a job site, or if you're a customer thinking about upgrading your facility. Firstly, PL plug-in lamps are incredibly important. We move a very large volume of this lamp, particularly our omnidirectional one, which is under good. And so I encourage you, if you need to do plug-ins, please look at our product line, because I think we have one of the best ones now in the market. The other thing that you should remember about plugins in general is that they're pin-based technology, and a pin-based technology has been in the United States since the 1950s. So you're actually kind of working off an old platform when you think about retrofitting products. And And pin-based PL lamps became pretty popular starting in like the mid 1990s, going into probably around 2010 when we started seeing more and more LED into the marketplace. So it is older technology. So we want you to think about better, which is the middle one there. And those are our Sconce retrofit kits and our ceiling retrofit kits. And the SkiR stands for ceiling retrofit, and the SR stands for Sconce. And then the best thing you can possibly do is replace a fixture with new modern fixture technology like we have. And I just wanted to remind you that sometimes a good retrofit is a little bit of using the better category on fixtures that are legacy fixtures or very specific to an institution, and then augmenting them with our brand new fixtures. So what makes our light engines terrific? And that's really what drives the drum discussion. And if you're out in the market talking about our products, or if you have to compare them, and if you're a decision maker in a business, as I know we have a mixed audience here on the call, it's very important that you really look at the inside and be able to articulate what we're doing here, because the outside of our drum fixture may look a lot like a lot of other ones in the market. And so on the left-hand side here, you see our ceiling retrofit or our drum retrofit fixture up top, and then just below it allows you to swing out the blades or the light engine part of it, the LEDs, to help volumize a light fixture. And we'll go into that a little bit more in a few more slides. So the next thing that's really important to remember about and I'll do a little live demonstration and show you this, but we'll use the slides to kind of set up the conversations, because I don't want to totally kill you guys with PowerPoint. So we're going to do some live stuff here in just a sec. So we have a 10-year warranty. I think that's super important. The other thing that's super important here is that anything, whether or not it's the fixture or the light engine, it falls in under Energy Star. DLC does not offer this as a category. And with DLC, which is Design Lights Consortium, every time the government says, hey, I want to take on a classification, that's the Department of Energy, DLC will relinquish that to Energy Star. So in this case, for ceiling mounted fixtures, the Department of Energy wanted to be able to rate them and take them on as a category. So these are Energy Star listed fixtures or upgrades. The other important thing to know about this is Energy Star really only requires a 2-year warranty. They felt that that was great for consumers. But you know what, for the most part, it's not super great for commercial use. So we offer a 10-year warranty, and our fixtures are designed in a way with our LED lifespan at 100,000 hours. That means that you can safely work on a project with higher burn hours and know that our light engines are going to survive during that 10-year warranty, because at the end of the year, whether or not you're a customer on this call or a distributor or one of our manufacturer's reps, you don't want to handle that product again in the next 10 years, and neither do we. So we want to make sure we build the products to meet that warranty goal. And part of that 100,000 hour rated life on the chipset helps us achieve that. The other thing that I know, if you've tuned in, you know about our Flex Watt, in that there is flexible wattage control. Flex Color allows you to use the same product and have various choices for colors. And I'm just going to say, sometimes people get a little confused or hung up on the benefit of color, of being able to change the color temperature. So I just want to reiterate to you why I think that's important for you to share with your customers. Firstly, a lot of times, sometimes we bring in 4,000 Kelvin because they thought that they wanted whiter light. And when they get it into their environment, they say, you know what, I would really like warmer light. So that's just a flip of a dip switch inside the product that allows you to, adjust the color temperatures of the product. Now, the other thing that's really important on color is that if you start with a white colored room, usually a mid-tone or a 3,500 Kelvin looks better for white. But if you repaint it to gray colors, a 4,000 Kelvin looks and interacts with gray a little bit better than a warmer color temperature does. Or if the room has wood or wood accents, that warmer color temperature looks better. Also, if you're selling into hotel spaces, they tend to like 3,000 Kelvin much better than they like 4,000 Kelvin, because usually a warm light emits relaxation, a warmer environment. So that warm color temperature is really important if you're going into hospitality spaces. And then finally, we're going to talk a little bit more later in this, but a deeper dive, we call it flex control, which means the products are all built to be control ready. And that's going to be really important now as actually DLC and utilities are increasing their incentive money around doing controls. So I think that you'll get a lot out of that part of the webinar. So I'm going to the next slide here. I wanted to, at first I was going to do like a deep dive competitive analysis to our products and another product, other products that are out on the market, but I wanted to show you this slide. David, since he was out of town, sent me some notes, and I was looking through them from previous generations of the product. And the one on the left is David's design from like 6 years ago. And then on the right-hand side of your screen, you'll see a current manufacturer, and I won't give you the name, I'll let you go try to figure it out, but their product is pretty similar to what we were offering 6 years ago. And in fact, actually, David's product had thicker sheet metal on the back, which means better heat dissipation, also means a little stronger when you're doing mounting into fixtures. And those blades on that design actually fan out, which was pretty innovative for 6 years ago. And we still incorporate that into the product today. The other neat thing to know about our product is the way we do our driver technology. Firstly, the most obvious thing is that we do have a center hole through the middle of the driver. And that's because a lot of ceiling fixtures have threaded rods in them. So this allows you to quickly mount the kit right up into the ceiling and use your threaded rod within the fixture to lock down the kit and the driver. The other part of the driver that's pretty important to know is that we have 0 to 10 volt control standard on the product. And that 0 to 10 volt control can do anything from running a simple sensor to integrating into a building management system to supplying power to control devices. And we'll show you that in just a minute. The picture on the right-hand side actually shows, and I'll see if you can see my mouse, I'm showing the sensor that's built into it. And we'll do a little bit of a deeper dive on that part of it. And all of this technology goes inside of those fixtures that Ryan's going to be showing you in just a second. The other thing that is pretty important, and I'll show you live here in just a second how our battery backup works. This is an example on the left-hand side. You can see battery backup for us includes two components. There's a driver, a backup driver that is powered by a battery. So there are two components that go into the fixtures. If you're retrofitting and you're retrofitting a larger fixture, I'll show you that in just a second, you usually have enough space to hide those two components in. In fact, when we send, if we know you're retrofitting and we know that you're doing battery backup, we'll pre-mount those two units right onto a SkiR for you so you can install it in the field. If you're doing a smaller fixture, we're going to show you a little trick that we use with ours to make sure that your customer gets the battery backup stuff that they need by code. So I'm going to go to the demo here. So if I do this all correctly, whoops, we should be fine here. Hang on while I go to the demo. Hey, there we go. So I'm hopeful that everyone can see me okay. So I wanted to cover a couple of things with you. Firstly, this is the SkiR, which is a ceiling retrofit that goes into all of our fixtures. And I'm going to reiterate a few points I made earlier. I'm going to see if I can move that right up. You can see right here over my finger, that's where you do the wattage adjustments. This product has flex wattage in it, which means there are 4 different wattage selections. So inside the kit, when you get whether or not it's a fixture or your kit, you get a couple of different things here in this baggie that I wanted to highlight for you. Of course, getting stuff out of the bag when you're just coming back from vacation is a little tricky. So, so firstly, you use this. Some people call this a screwdriver, but I don't call it a screwdriver. This is a wattage selection tool, right? So you can actually go in here and you can click and rotate to the various wattage settings that you want. And that's really important for either energy efficiency, where you're trying to get your fixture to a certain wattage that you're doing to replace it. But it's also important if you're doing mathematical energy savings calculations and you know you need to be at like 10-watt range, you can adjust your fixture to that. Or if you have a thicker lens on your fixture, you can dial it up a little thicker to push a little more light out of the fixture. The other nice thing to know, and many of you haven't seen this before in a demonstration or know about it, there is a little piece of plastic, and that plastic slides right over that and essentially is a lock that locks out anybody from being able to easily adjust the wattage. They would have to go back through a lot of work to readjust the wattage. And that's important for utility companies, because what they want to know is if you're putting the product in at 10 watts, for example, that the product will stay at 10 watts, and making it not easy or not immediately evident or maybe of how to adjust that makes most utility companies happy that will meet any of the wattage requirements on the energy saving side. The other thing to note is this is I mentioned that we have color adjustability. This is the color adjustability switch for 3 different color temperatures, which are 3000 Kelvin, 3500 Kelvin, and 4000 Kelvin. And then finally, these 2 little control wires on the top, most people will recognize what we call purple and gray. That would be the 0 to 10 volt dimming control that's built right inside of these. And then this is the power that I was talking about. That power wire can be used, I have all sorts of stuff in front of me here. So this is the sensor, and our low voltage sensor is powered on the back side of the driver. And there's a couple of things that are really important about that, particularly for you guys that are out there chasing energy incentives. Firstly, it lives on the back side of the driver, which means it's protected by all of the surge protection that's inherent within the driver. And then secondly, it also allows you to run a lower wattage because it's a low wattage. So it uses 0.38 of a watt as part of the configuration. So it's very much energy savings and it's protected by the driver. The other thing that I wanted to show you was here are the 2 items that go inherently inside of the fixtures for battery backup. That's your battery and that's your driver. And so if you have a smaller product like this one, this is our utility drum that Ryan's going to show you. How do you put this inside of there? Well, you can't. So what we'll do for you at the factory is we'll pre-mount these 2 items on the back side of the fixture, and then we supply you as part of the kit a ring. And so this ring mounts, let's see if I can raise that up so you can see a little bit better. So the ring mounts first, and then you use longer screws and you mount it to the ceiling like that, which effectively hides it. Now, you do have about a 2-inch piece of metal here, so it does drop the fixture down a little bit, but it's a perfect way to put about as much battery backup power as you need into the fixture and cleverly disguise it so it's easily accessible. So I'm going to go on a little bit further here. So the next thing we want to do is talk briefly. Let's see if I can get back to my presentation. Hey, I think if everything's working great, we're back at the presentation. Let's see here. There we go. So I want to talk again about sensors and remotes. So there are 4 types of controls that you want to be thinking about when you do a design. Firstly, occupancy, and that's really important for stairwells. Secondly, timer, if you need time clock control. step dimming again, which means the light comes on at a certain level and then drops down to a certain level when there's no occupancy, and then ambient light control. And those are really the four. If you think about any sort of control installations, it pretty much falls into one or all of those four buckets. And really where we position our basic sensor is right here for this type of application. The top picture here is showing somebody entering a hallway. When it detects motion, our microwave sensors, which are invisible to the eye because they live inside the fixture, detects the motion, brings the light level up. And then when there's no motion detected, it can dim the lights down to 30% or whatever you select. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. This is a little handheld remote, which is an option that comes available when you purchase a fixture and you want to do additional controls. And this is, I think, kind of neat. So starting at the top, one of the things with sensors is sometimes you don't want a sensor to be super sensitive. So you need to adjust the sensitivity of a sensor. So we have 4 different light sensitivity selections, particularly if you're in a hallway and you maybe only want one area to come on when there's motion, you can reduce the sensitivity of the sensor. The other neat thing about the product is it has daylight holdback built into it. So some of you have heard of daylight harvesting. Daylight harvesting will, as the sun comes around, will move the light level depending upon how much sunlight there is in the room. This is a little more simple than that. You can use the product with the daylight sensing or without it. But what this does is daylight holdback, which means based on the amount of lux or the amount of light in the room, it actually shuts the fixture off. And you can adjust that. It comes out of the box when we send the product out into the field with the sensors. It's not activated. It's your choice to activate that. Then you can also put in control how much hold time you have, which is once somebody has triggered the sensor, they've entered the hallway, the light level will come on, and our default is 5 minutes. And then after 5 minutes, it will drop the light level down. And then finally, you can control to where it drops the light level down. Do I want it to drop it to 30%? Do I want it to drop to 50% or whatever you want it to do? And then you can further say, look, I want it to go from 100% when it sees motion down to 30% after 5 minutes, and then after another 30 minutes, I want the fixture to shut off entirely. So, so there's a little bit of flexibility when you incorporate the remote control into our fixtures. All right, so what we've discovered, and this is a David slide that I've added into this, is that most of the time when you have a 24/7 application, a lot of the time the area is not even occupied. So why run the lights at 100%? And that works a lot in hallways and condominium associations, back of house applications for hospitals and hospitality, and all of those areas where they require light to be on 24/7, but why run it at 100%? And that difference, if you're running, for example, a 40-watt light fixture at 100%, but you can drop it down to 25% or 30%, in parts of the country, you're going to save about $20 a year just in dimming cost savings. So it's really important that you think about that when you're purchasing something as simple as a drum fixture. This is a project that David did early on. It's a terrific example. It's an elderly residence home. It's pretty beautiful, as you can see. So I hope that in 20 or 30 or 40 years from now, I end up in a place like that. But basically what he was able to do by incorporating our retrofit kits and our new products into this, he was able to save them a lot of money and energies because, face it, the old folks usually aren't up roaming around at 2 a.m. in the morning, so there's no reason to run the lights at that level. So it's important that you consider that too as part of your design. So we're going to do, I'm going to invite Amy into this because I think we want to do, let me stop sharing here on the screen. what we want to do is show you a couple of things. So we talked about our basic sensor that comes on board or as an option, which is our sensor here and the remote control. But Amy's going to talk a little bit about the evolution of Bluetooth controls for grouping fixtures and so forth. I'll let you take that part away, Amy.
Right, so what I have here is one of my favorite Bluetooth apps, and I have a couple of different lighting fixtures that I have programmed. And what I have right here is a sconce, and Nate is actually holding the utility drum, excuse me, not the sconce, and I'm going to turn it on, and it's going to light up. And I'm actually in a different office. I'm totally away from Nate. We're in two different places in the building. So I'm turning it on. I'm turning it off, down, dim. And the beauty of this is that you can actually schedule it on different times. So if you want to come home at a certain time or program your office at certain times to come on, you can set up timers. See, that's what you can set it up. You can group them. You can set up different groups and scenes. You can program scenes for different offices, different your lobbies, your bathrooms, whatever you need to do to keep everyone safe. Different groups. I have a whole group here of all my different fixtures that I've set up. So it's really interesting.
Amy, I'm gonna jump in for you for just a moment. One of the things that a lot of the hotels are looking to do these days is they want to take those boring lobbies that they have. Amy's turning the light fixture on and off on me. So what they want to do is take those boring lobbies that they have, and she's doing a great job distracting me. So, but anyway, those lobbies that they have, they want to be able to create ambiance in the evening. They want to be able to do all sorts of, make it brighter during the day and welcome during check-in and check-out times. And all those types of simple things that you can do and the scene ability to be able to group fixtures and create different light levels with the fixtures and automate that is a real, and that can all be done with our drum fixtures. What else do you think do we hit everything on that app?
I think so. There's schedules, controllers, scenes. It's very easy. The language is very easy on this. You can find this on any app store. It's available for Android phones and iPhones.
So with Bluetooth controls, now we can also do something called Zigbee controls with our fixtures. And basically we design all of these by the job. So if you're working on a project, you just got to let us know like what you have for rooms, where would they like to control the light from, what are the key needs of the client and the individuals in the building. And if you communicate that to us, we can do a design for you. And if you're very skilled at this, then we can set you up with some phone help, or you can have somebody do factory commissioning. We got a bunch of different options depending upon your skill level and your need level on the project. I'm just trying to think if I left anything out, Amy.
No, that's it.
I think that's it. So know on the controls that we can help you. We're not, on those Bluetooth controls, we're not actually designing our own control systems. We test and use third-party controllers that what we call OEM. We bring them into Middleton, we install them in the fixtures for you, and we get them out into the field for you, so you have a control solution ready to go for your customers. So I think, Ryan, are you still out there, Ryan? Because I probably used more minutes than I should have.
Hello again, everybody. Amy, I'm glad you're all the way in Boston and you don't have control over the lights in this room, because there's no way we'd get through this if you were messing with me right now. Monday afternoon blues, right? Thank you for the introduction. Hello again, I'm Ryan, Ryan Quinn, Central Regional Sales Manager, and I see a lot of familiar names on the participant list, so hello to a lot of familiar names and faces out there. Very excited to talk about our drums, because you don't typically associate light efficient design with these type of drum fixtures. And obviously with the Remfoss marriage, it opened up a lot of different solutions for us to bring to market. But I probably would be surprising a few of you if I mentioned that we are actually the #1 supplier of drums in the Massachusetts multifamily housing program. And actually in company history, we've shipped over 500,000 since 2013 of the different variations of our drum fixtures. And actually, if you count all units going back to that date, it's a defective rate far below 0.5%. It's actually 0.05%, which is very impressive in my opinion. Let me just pull up this presentation here real quick, so I can kind of talk to this. This is just a quick screenshot of some of our future-proof and flexible drum fixtures. You can see that we have 5 different styles that we actually offer with multiple dimensions. For example, that top left unit, that designer drum, we actually offer that in a 14-inch or an 18-inch design. And all of these products come with the LED SkiR and S2 light engines pre-installed. So you get the same flex color, flex watt, and flex control advantages, and the same 10-year warranty is offered with the SkiR and SR retrofit kits. The real play for why you would use our fixture instead of our competitor's fixture would be customization and the associated labor savings. There is a lot of customization that we can put into these products, especially considering we're doing a lot of our assembly work here in the States at our Middleton Innovation Center up in Boston. A perfect example, an opportunity that we landed about 6-7 months ago up in Minnesota. It was actually a 6-building multifamily housing type facility. The customer chose us for this project because we were able to install one product ready to be installed up on the wall at their preferred color and wattage settings, as well as us having already installed the emergency battery backup unit within the fixture itself. On the 14-inch and 18-inch designer drum, we actually use our SkiR, our LED SkiR 9-inch round retrofit kit that you can see right here on this slide. And with the wings spread out, we were able to fit the emergency battery backup unit between those wings. And when you consider that our lenses are actually 90% transmission rate, so it's a beautiful uniform illumination. So when the light is on, you cannot see all of those components within the fixture itself. Similar to the retrofit kits, we have our default settings where we can ship to you at a lower cost default setting, middle color, middle wattage. But at the same time, we can also factory preset for you if you already know your preferred settings. So we still have that option as well. Before I forget, I do want to mention every combination of color, temperature, and wattage is ENERGY STAR listed, similar to the retrofit kits. And with that 90% transmission rate on our fixture lenses, when you compare that to our competition, they're mostly at 60 to 80%. So that is a significant improvement for us. You still get the same accessories and custom options as you do with the retrofit kits. We can still do a Buy America Section 1605 compliance for you. We can still install that occupancy high-low motion sensor in the fixture itself. It comes installed on the SR SkiR retrofit kit, and it is that microwave technology, so it reads right through the fixture lens to sense motion in a hallway. So again, another vandal-proof feature where you don't have to install anything externally outside of the feature. We could still offer the remote to customize those settings on the sensor. We mentioned emergency battery backup, all of the LG dongle and sensor type solutions as well. We can do a line voltage dimming for you. And another nice feature that we are able to offer are custom paint jobs. We're actually able to offer different finishes on these different styles of drums, another feature that sets us apart. And on top of that, we can also do replacement housings as well. This would come into play if you're installing these in an application where you have concerns about vandalization moving forward. While most of our products are vandal proof, and I'll show you a few examples of that, it certainly offers a nice peace of mind that we can offer simple replacement housing, similar to us being able to provide replacement light engines as well, those being the retrofit kits within the fixtures. So this was our first product that we came out with, our designer drum, which comes in a 14-inch or an 18-inch orientation. This is a flexible, I mentioned the flexible lens, a nice silver brushed aluminum painted base with trim rings and the hardware come included. Again, you can see on the bottom there, it mentions the different wattage settings. If you switch between the 4 different wattages, ranging from 6 watts up to 22 watts, you're getting anywhere between 780 lumens all the way up to 3,100 lumens. That's a very significant range. And you're still getting 3,000, 35K, and 4,000K as your color options as well. This is our utility drum, our DRU utility drum. This is the product that Nate showed you guys with the ring for the to help hide the external battery backup unit. This product comes with in an 11-inch or a 14-inch design. This is our IP65 rated outdoor drum, actually a 12-inch design. That IP65 opens up a lot of doors to some exterior applications. 12-inch design, still being powered by that LED SkiR light engine. And again, with all of these products, everything that I've shown you so far has that same wattage range between 6 watts to 22 watts. So, depending on, if your customer has a specific foot candle requirement that they are trying to meet, first things first, we can assist with the layout for you and actually help determine how many of these fixtures are needed. And then based on what we find on that layout, as compared to your foot candle requirements, we can then make the determination what wattage you're going to need in that application. This is our DRT IP65 Tough Drum. I really like this design. It's a 13-inch unit. Actually, this product came as a recommendation from MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. In other words, a school that I didn't have nearly good enough grades to get into. MIT actually came to us asking for a tamper-proof or vandal-proof type design, something that was relatively rugged, but still nice looking. Something that a baseball bat could be taken to and it wouldn't break. So we actually came out with this design for MIT at that request. It's a little silly. It's something that we're actually, that we've heard is a common occurrence around the country at this point. But the nice thing about this vandal resistant design that this product offers, in college dormitories, for example, apparently it is a widespread challenge in these dormitories where students are actually getting caught hiding their drugs in the lighting fixtures. So first time I heard this, I laughed it off a little bit, but I've actually heard it 3 times in the last 2 weeks. Just a quick little funny side story for you. But again, this is something that you would use in more of a vandal resistant type application. This is our glass drum fixture, 15-inch design. It says coming soon on that screen, but we do have these available. Something I can't remember if Nate mentioned it or not, but on our SkiR and SR retrofit kits, you can see that there's a little hole running right through the driver for fixtures that have a threaded rod, this being one of those fixture styles. But again, you still see the same wattage options, 6 to 22 watts, same lumen output. So we have a lot of different solutions for different applications. And then we have our designer Sconce unit as well. This being it's an 11-inch wide Sconce unit, high transmission acrylic plastic lens. This one is powered by our our 4-inch SR unit actually. I'm going to unplug from the presentation here real quick, so I'm going to show you this unit. Okay. Sitting right next to me. Oops, wrong button. There we go. Let me just plug this in real quick. So just to show you real quick, this product actually has, if you can see this inside, it actually has the 4-inch SR already installed, plenty of space. Of course, there's a protective screen right here, but the 2 wings are installed here with plenty of space. You have your driver right in the middle, and you still get your ability to easily adjust between your colors and wattages out in the field. And you get that nice uniform look. It spreads the light out without you having to see different chunks of light coming from the 2 different wings within the fixture. back to the presentation now. Oops. Yeah. Slideshow. How do I do? There we go. Like I mentioned, Monday afternoon. Don't judge me. A quick case study. Oops. A quick case study. Boston University. You may have seen this in a past workshop. However, I did think it was a nice point, a good point to bring this exact case study up again, because this was a widespread project that actually included all of their dormitories at Boston University. In total, it was 10,000 units that we shipped, and it was actually a combination of us retrofitting existing fixtures and providing brand new fixtures as well for the dormitories, restrooms, hallways, etc. So you can see in the lower left-hand corner, we used our LED SR light engines to retrofit existing fixtures, but then in the top left corner, we have our basic LED, our RPT DRU drum fixture, and then our designer drum in the upper right-hand picture as well.